In the last couple of weeks, I've lost all my writing motivation, which is really strange because I usually love writing, but I do think that I'm in a new environment and I don't have a writing nook as such in my new environment. And because I don't have a writing nook, because I'm so used to having one where I go, I just retreat, I shut the world off, I block off all the noise, I think that's why I'm struggling. And this is how I'm dealing with it whilst I'm away. Okay, so you're a writer, you're struggling, perhaps you're no longer motivated. How do you get motivated? Normally I would get motivated by sitting in front of my writing nook, sitting there looking at all my weird stuff around, looking at my papers on the wall. You know how I love papers on the wall. And just relaxing in that ambiance and just taking it all in, and I escape and I just start writing and I just can't stop. Well, I no longer have access to that, so how am I dealing with this right now? First of all, the first thing I believe you need to do is find out your why. Why do you write? Why did you start writing? What was your intention in writing? What did you hope to achieve by writing? If it's ever a monetary, for monetary gain, that's always a lot harder to get back into because you have to really enjoy it. You really have to write for the love of writing. You have to ask yourself, do you actually like writing? Because I love writing, I can't do without it. Normally, I love writing fantasy, I love escaping, I love creating all these worlds in my head. I love waking up very early in the morning. It is now 6 a.m. I've been awake for about 2 hours. I love waking up very early in the morning and just in that silence, that complete silence, I feel like I'm shrouded in the silence, I write. So my why is escapism. It's something I've always done. It's something I always want to do. I love to build worlds. I love to explore characters. I like to deal with mythology in my culture and cultures across the world. I love all the stories we have to tell. I love pen, I love paper, I love ink. You've seen me with all my ink. I love all of that. So you have to find your why. But I'll say this again, here's the caveat. If it's for monetary gain, that is never ever really enough. 2, I'm dealing with micro goals. Before, I would just choose to sit at my desk and just write for an extended amount of time, get as many words down as possible and just escape. That's no longer possible because I don't have those amenities. I really should have built a writing nook here. It would be so easy, there's so much space, but I never thought to do it, so I know for next time I have to do it. But what I work on at the moment is micro goals. I'm just having little goals along the day or along each day that I do, whether it's just 5 minutes. I've spoken about 5 minutes on this channel before, sitting down for 5 minutes and just seeing what happens, or moving to another part of the house, maybe outdoors in nature. It's a bit loud where I am because I'm in a very built-up area, so as soon as I open a window or I go outside, there is a lot more noise than you would expect. But we are in an extremely busy part of the city and there's just cars in each direction and it's going to be rush hour as well. So find a quiet spot, build micro goals. And when I say build micro goals, start with micro goals, start with little things. Like start with introducing a new antagonist. You know, try finishing your last scene that you struggled with. Describe the flowing gown that is being worn by the protagonist. Just focus on little things like that. What does a person's hair look like? What do they look like? You know, just absolutely focus on little things like that, and then eventually when you start to find your motivation, you can move on to the bigger things. There's a storm outside. Normally this is peak writing for me, especially like I love writing in thunderstorms. But anyway, let's carry on. Do you have an audience? Try getting an audience. I started writing on YouTube because I just loved writing so much. I love the process of it. I like the look of it. I loved everything around writing. So that's why I started my YouTube channel, because I just enjoyed it so much. I would say to you, if there's motivation issues at the moment, try going on YouTube, Instagram, whatever social platform, somewhere safe where you can find like-minded people and just write. Try and find a place where you can control the flow of people, because what you don't want to attract is trolls and people who just want to ruin the flow. Sometimes when you're writing, you're in your element, you do get people coming up and they're just troublesome trolls. They're just problematic. They're not the good trolls like in the books and storybooks. They are just very bored, intent on chaos and causing trouble. And this is also one of the reasons why I started the Write With Me streams, because there's lots of accountability in there. You're writing together, you're just immersing yourself in that moment. And that's what I love doing, and that was one of the motivations for starting the channel as well. Have a break. This is my fourth tip. Have a break. Read a book. You could read a book in the same genre you write in. It's very bizarre. I write fantasy. I don't tend to read fantasy. I tend to read thrillers. I tend to read mysteries. I tend to read just darker stories, but never fantasy. I don't know why. Perhaps I haven't found fantasy books I like. The closest thing to fantasy that I've actually liked has been Ben Aranovich. You've probably heard me mention him before. Rivers of London. I love the series. But I don't tend to read fantasy. I don't know why. And I didn't read fantasy as a kid either. When I was a kid, I read a lot of Jeffrey Archer. I know how bizarre that sounds. I read Jeffrey Archer books, and I read a lot of thrillers and political thrillers. And I have a feeling that was because there were a lot of political thrillers hanging around the house. There were just books everywhere, and no one read fantasy, so I got used to reading all these books, and that's what I'm used to now. And that's not a bad thing, it's just what I'm used to. So try to read. You could read in the same genre you're trying to write in, or you could read in a completely different genre, and that's fine. But read and escape. And I always say that when you're reading, read with intent. Don't just read to relax, read with intent. What excites you about what you're reading? What motivates you about what you're reading? Is there anything that gets you going, that just gets you really amped up? Take a note of that. Is it a sentence? Is it the pace of writing? Is it the style of writing? We're always borrowing from each other and learning from each other. And sometimes you realize that, you love this author's pace of writing. If you're reading a horror, you find that maybe you want to try it out in your fantasy series, go ahead, knock yourself out. Just read, or perhaps go for a walk. Do something that will inspire your creativity. But I would suggest first and foremost reading. I've heard of authors that don't like to read. I don't know how they do it. I couldn't do it. Lastly, and this is always my go-to, my first go-to, music. Have a playlist. Have a playlist that is synonymous with what you're trying to create. There are playlists all over YouTube. No one knows you're going to play them. There'll be no copyright issues. If you're going to live stream your writing, don't live stream any playlist of YouTube. No. You have to have copyright free music, and I would suggest using just music from YouTube during your live stream. It's a lot safer, and you just don't want to run into any legal trouble. So music. I have so many amazing music playlists that I use when I'm writing, and they are fascinating. They evoke emotion within me. I've caught myself crying sometimes. I've gotten angry listening to that music whilst writing. I've gotten very upset. I've gotten I've become irritable. And there's a lot of good music out there, lots of amazing composers. And if you listen to their music as you write, you will find all motivation. You will find it, trust me. And you find that different audio cues in the music can pull you into your fantasy world, into your storytelling world much faster. And for me, this is the fastest way of getting back into writing motivation. Okay, so that are all the tips I have. That's all I could really think of on the top of my head. I will be resuming the writing streams as well, and I will be resuming the... I hope this video has helped anyone who is struggling with motivation. My first and foremost tip, above all else, would be to have a little writing corner that you decorate. It doesn't have to be much. You can just have, pens, papers, just things that motivate you and that inspire you and inspire the creativity in you. I will do a video about creating a writing nook and what I use and where I source them. Nothing was expensive at all. But let me know if you do want to see a video. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye. I hope inspiration finds you well and you have lots and lots of inspiration.